you mentioned being an animator, but you also have directed at least one live action film that I know. So I'm going to confess, it's Phantasm Ravager. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will confess that the first Phantasm I saw in a double feature of the Meridian Quad when I was 12, and it scared the crap out of me so badly that I did not bother with any other films until about 4 years ago. I rewatched the first one and went, "Oh no, that's really cool."
It still holds up.
It's really great. So I have not, and my problem is I'm one of those that goes like, you have to go in order, and I can't find Phantasm 2 anywhere, and I'm just going to assume it sucks.
Yeah, that one, I will say. So for Phantasm Ravager, I made a video, which I think you can find on YouTube. Someone put it up. I made an actual little trailer that would play before the movie in theaters, which is me as a scientist explaining the history of Phantasm for the people that didn't understand that a giant V meant part 5. So here's what you missed. You should check that out because it gives you all the highlights for all those. But I will say Ravager to me is almost more of a, and this is to Dawn as well. We talked, that it's more of a bookend to the first one, which I was trying to catch the innocence of the first movie, which was a little kid, which now I know none of the characters have that innocence because they've dealt with so much for decades.
Yeah.
So it really has to deal with Reggie, the character of Reggie, having dementia in his older age. And we don't know if he's having dementia or he's in another plane with the tall man kicking ass. And I really kind of wrote the movie with Don. We kind of made it this kind of different dimension, so you can kind of read the movie however you want. Either you're a pessimist or you're an optimist when you watch this movie. So
I love that. If I don't have to watch 2, 3, and 4, I will jump to Ravager.
It's a very heady explanation for a very low budget movie where I end up doing all the effects and I have no idea what I'm doing.
But this gets back to your graphic novel. We're coming full circle because you can do anything you want drawing the story, right? Right. Shannon and I have talked about that many times. Like, it's one of the things you love about comics. If you can imagine it, it can go on the paper. But you started by saying, as much as it's cool how skilled we are, there's still something almost hypnotic about the solutions when you couldn't do the CG. I think that CG has kind of killed a lot of creativity because they're so busy trying to make everything realistic that you forget that Ray Harryhausen is still fascinating to children. Yeah. Even though they've seen better stuff because it's
and CG has its place. The Phantasm Ravager, I actually wanted it to be all practical at the beginning. I actually built this crazy apparatus that I had on my bike that I'd ride around with a big jousting pole and a sphere on the end with green screens around it. But the thing was once I would composite it, it looked like a bad, picture-in-picture pop-up on Zoom or something.
Okay.
So then it just came down to budget. So I had to teach myself, a lot of CG stuff. But I'm proud of it too, because we had scenes where it's like, we have a scene where Reggie opens his door and sees an apocalyptic city, and it was going to be just a 2D matte painting. But I was telling Don, it's got to be more than that. Give me a month and I'll go away. And I did as many YouTube videos as I could on how to use certain softwares. And I built a CG city and have the camera moving through the city with spheres, and it's CG. But again, to me, that was kind of my low budget solution to still have scope and a bigger thing. I think it's when you have money to not use it, that it becomes almost a crutch in a way.
Yeah. Well, because I hear that about like Marvel, how many things the joke always was, we'll fix it in post, but literally they do that. And, so much gets rewritten and done that way. But, in fact, you bring up YouTube too. It's like, you still think that kids, you don't have to go to film school. You can learn CG if you have the patience to go through YouTube.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it depends on talents, and if you have the talent to use the tools the correct way, the same will be with AI too. We'll have a flood of a bunch of stuff just flooding the market. But ultimately, when it becomes the norm, the standouts will always stand out. Those who can use things creatively and different. Otherwise, everything just becomes vanilla and it's the same stuff.
Well, we
Much
could
like
have
this, I never saw a Hunchback of Naughty Dames, and it's like that's what I want to see is
yeah.
stuff I haven't really seen before,
Well,
or stuff that's derivative but changes it in some way, and improves.
yeah, do something unique,
something
right?
different.
That's